Hello YouTube, this is Charlie426 and today we have a review of the Moderoid Savage Crossbow from Good Smile Company. Now Moderoid or Modroid is basically as far as I know is the name of the plastic model line of Good Smile Company. Now those who don't know Good Smile Company is basically the company that makes the Figma and Nendoroid figures as far as I know. And they do make plastic models time to time, and the one I have reviewed before is the Cherno Alpha made by Plamax, which I believe is still like associated with Good Smile Company. Anyway, I'm not used to, but I really loved how the build was for the Cherno Alpha, and when I noticed or realized that Good Smile Company started to make or decided to make plastic models of the Savage kits, I decided to get one. Now this is the Savage Crossbow that was used by the main character, in not from the main series, but from another separate like side story thing, which was called the Invisible Victory, I think. Now this Savage was technically based on if you've seen that anime, you would know that this one's actually based on not the typical gray Savage we see, but based on the Russian version, the green one, or like the camel one in the anime. So yeah. Now before I go on to the review, I would just like to mention that this kit does not use any polycaps, and which I will admit that was kind of a really interesting move for Good Smile Company. Not that I don't have any trust on them. I really love their products, but um, the kit needs to be worked out more. I mean, it's not enough. They need to like study the engineering more without using polycaps, because even Bandai, one of their most biggest struggle when it comes to making kits is to make kits that does not use polycaps. While they do like exercises time to time, like on the Master Grade F91 1.0 and 2.0, and like the Atlas Gundam HG, some work and some don't. This one is a really mixed bag of opinions for me, but hopefully you guys will get what I'm talking about. Anyway, let's get on to the review. So first of all, we're going to talk about components. So first what you get is the Savage Crossbow itself. I'm just going to leave it right there. And here we're supposed to get some stuff. Now, believe it or not, this thing does have a leftover piece, which is these small pieces, which is basically in terms of Gundam or Gunpla, these are like the Vulcan pieces, so that which goes onto the head. No, now you only use two, but for some reason this thing gives you four of them, so that's why you have two leftover parts. And then we get some sticker sheets. Once again, they give you two of the same sets, just in case, I assume, like if you mess up, or maybe if the kit gets old that you have to use them again. Now I only use these red ones because these yellow ones are the type of stickers I extremely hate, which I will point out where they are supposed to go. The red ones are kind of like the eyes. Yeah, which again, usually I would love to color, but I don't have the exact color, and coloring these small areas are going to be really hard for me. Now, instead of sticker decals, they do give you water slides, and believe it or not, these are some water slides that we actually see from the anime. Like, they actually do use the Good Smile Company decal on, even in the anime as well, which is funny. But yeah, you do get a good amount of water slides, interesting ones if you ask me. And here are the components or stuff that you're supposed to get. Now, you get a machine gun, your typical machine gun, which does, even for a machine gun, it does kind of look short, but yeah. And this thing does have a foldable stock like that, which is pretty nice, and I will admit that I wasn't expecting that. And you get a peg right over here for you can attach it onto the back, which I will show you guys later how that works. And you get a shotgun, which technically in the anime he kind of takes away from another unit. But this one, now, we had a foldable stock on the machine gun. On this one, no, this is just a built-in thing. So this is more of one of those snap two pieces together and connect the end tips, that kind of shotgun. So yeah, for some reason they didn't go with the shotgun, and they have another peg so you can attach onto the back. And you get four hands, two open hands, and two of these trigger fingers for left and right. These hands are terrible. I will show you guys later why. And we get the explosive hammers, or throwing hammers, or tomahawks, whatever they're called. I forgot their names, but now you have these three handles. Those are built-in ones. These do not come out. You only get one that actually comes out, and you're supposed to like store it like this, I believe, something like that. And once again, you're supposed to use those trigger hands to hold this thing, and it is still terrible. But yeah, I'm gonna take this out. Yeah, so I don't know how the connection works, but it works pretty damn well. And we have another peg here, so you can connect it to one of those holes that's all over the kit. Alright, now let's get on to the review. Now, once again, for those Gunpla fans who are out there, for me, who watches my channel, if you're kind of curious how big this thing is, now, keep in mind the legs are kind of folded up, but there's for a reason I can't get this thing standing on its own without folding those legs. But if you put it into next to a typical like a typical HG 1 to 144 scale, they kind of look similar, but basically the Savage should be a little bit taller if you like fold if you fold unfolded legs. So yeah, so that's that. All right, and once again, this thing does not use polycaps, but I think they should have gone with using polycaps. This is just me. Now, I would like to mention that I hope all these issues I'm having is just me, or it could be just me, or just me being unlucky. But if you have also these similar issues, please let me know. Okay, now let's start with the head. Now, despite how the head looks, it has pretty good articulation. Now, these are those Vulcan pieces that you get leftovers of, those black, and those yellow stickers that you just saw are supposed to go in here around the inside of that Vulcan area. So those inside has to be yellow, which I basically told myself there's no way I am applying that there, because I don't know, once again, applying yellow kind of makes it look off place. Now, I'm pretty sure in the anime, it wasn't that noticeable, but if you're like one of those people that has to be color accurate, oh well, you're gonna have to color that or use a sticker. And here are the eyes. Once again, I was kind of hoping that these would be like separate pieces or clear red pieces, but it turns out to be those red stickers, which, oh well, you can't win them always. For the head articulation, it's okay. It can go down that much, up that much, which is pretty a lot, and I do love that froggish face. And then it actually can go 360 despite its look. So that's that. Okay, before going on to the body, let's look at the back. Now, we have all these holes around the kit. We have these four on the back, one each on the elbow, two on the shoulders, one each on each side, on the side of the thigh, and I think that's pretty much it. But these are basically like how the Himok or Jim kit has, like those multiple holes for customization purposes. This is no exception. These holes are mostly to attach like all sorts of weapons. Now, the Savage isn't the best example the crossbow isn't the best example to show these kind of aspects, but the Sam Brown one actually comes with a good amount of equipment, like 2 types of knives, and you can attach those knives onto the shoulders and all sorts of places. So, yeah, I wish, I mean, if this was a pretty good kit, like, to me, I would have pre-ordered that right away, but because of this, I'm having second thoughts at the moment. But please let me know in the comments. So I'm not having any issues on the head or anything. The body is what you see is like what you get, this big fat body. Like there's no ab crunch or nothing, just a big fat body. But I would like to mention the body isn't empty entirely. There's stuff actually inside of here, mostly on the top. Maybe the middle you could consider it to be a little bit empty, but yeah, it's not entirely empty to the point where if you can just push it and break it. Okay, now let's look at the shoulder articulation. Now, the shoulder articulation is pretty good. Now, the way how this works is that you have the shoulder that can go forward, and you can see that the inner frame sort of comes out like that. So you have a shoulder that can move forward and backward, and the way how the shoulder is connected is that you have a ball jointed on the shoulder, and the ball joint goes inside to the main body like that. But once again, I would like to mention this thing does not have any polycaps. For the arm, it can go 90 degrees to the side and has a, let's see, like a 90-degree bend, let's put it that way, and the shoulder does move a little bit like that, up and down. One issue I'm having, this part spins too well, to the point where it's just loose. So when you're posing the kit and like say if you dropped it, nothing's gonna break, I think, but you will see the arm will be twisted like that, like up really easily. So this is one issue I'm like, even in Gunpla, like, even though if they, let's say they didn't use polycaps, this is not how this should, like, end up. So, yeah, this is, like, one issue I'm having. I'm pretty sure I guess if I color or paint the inside, it should be fixed. Once again, a 90-degree bend, and once again, ball-jointed hands. Now, the open hands are okay. However, like, since there's no polycap inside, it's just pure plastic, I'm pretty sure this is going to, like, scratch like time to time, and it's going to get loose in the future, I assume. Okay, now let's look at the waist section. Now the waist section is kind of inside the body, but there's not much you can do. There's this. Okay, I'm not sure if this is supposed to be considered an ab crunch because how big the body is, but you can't sort of like move backward and forward like that. So yeah, there is a bit of articulation, and you have this armor piece like on the connection point, but these are just joints connected, so there's just a peg, but so you have a side swivel right over here, which is pretty good, and then you can go all about less, I'm just gonna say less than 90 degrees because how the structure is entirely, and you have a double jointed bend on the leg. Now another issue I had with the kit is that while building this dark blue color area, this was really weird because technically there's a you have like an inner frame sort of thing, a gray piece, this connecting joint going in here, and that gray piece actually has two white pegs, and those pegs are supposed to connect to these inside blue pieces where they have the holes for those pegs, and also on the end tip there's another peg to confirm that connection. It does not work. It did not work. It does not stick together. It automatically falls off. So I had to glue these parts on this place, which is really odd for me. I don't know what was going on, or I'm not sure if it's just a faulty, like unlucky a faulty product I got. But yeah, I had to glue these on to connect it properly. Granted, once you like once you put this connect these two pieces, you have to put this white piece on it, so I assume it's supposed to support the connection, but still that was a pretty odd thing I did not expect. So yeah. Okay, the feet, once again, are very flat feet. Also the legs cannot go to the side. The feet are your flat feet, and they are connected to ball joints, but once again, no polycaps. So they do have a good amount of range of movement forward and backward like that. However, moving side to side is also possible, but once again, it's very stiff. Okay, now we've seen the basic articulation. Now let's look at its equipment. Now, the arms, the twisting the arms being loose, that's fine. Like I can take that. Oh, also you can spin the arm 360 if you want to do so. Hands popping out, sure, that I can take that. These parts not properly sticking to each other, fine, I can take that. But what I cannot, which made me almost scream while taking the photos, were these hands. Okay, first of all, the equipment. This one, you can, like in the anime, you can attach it to this side of the leg or the other side if you want. It really depends on your taste. You can even attach it. You can attach this onto the shoulder if you want to do so for some reason, like that, or it can still stick on the back if you want to do so. So there's like multiple options as well. Oh boy. Okay, you got that out of sight. Now these trigger fingers are terrible. Granted, they give you left and right. They do not stick. Not this point. The other part. This thing comes off too easily. Number one, this peg here is too short. I think that's the main reason. The pegs are too short and they're not tight enough. So okay, for example, and this thing does not have the hole and peg system like the normal gunpla we see. Granted, this is from a different company, but hopefully, I hope they learn from their mistakes, or like, I don't know. Hopefully they get better or fix these issues, because I say like if the mobile suit, or not mobile suit, if the mech cannot hold its weapons properly, that really decreases its play value, if you ask me. So okay, I have the hand. You can just slide it in or do what I just did. Problem is, okay, like you saw that, right? It just fell off just like that. Same goes for this one. At least same goes for the machine gun. So while you're trying to pose this kit with the weapon, and if you're trying to move the weapon, there is a high chance that you might drop the hand or weapon, whatever you. So once again, you have to get this in the correct pose and just leave it like that. Holding the weapons aren't a big issue once you have them in their hands, but Like if I'm trying to move the weapon, once again, it falls off. So that is a very big problem if you ask me. I don't know, maybe I'm not sure if paint will fix it, but ooh, that's a big problem. And here we have the left side, and I'm not sure, this thing does not, these are one of those weapons you just slide in, so hoping it works. But once again, there's not much like a big, there's no like good way to hold the hammer properly, like because it ends up like this. And that's pretty much it for the review for the Savage Crossbow. So I'm just gonna say this, I'm not gonna recommend this to everybody. Like, if you are willing to buy this because you like it, that's fine, but keep in mind you might have like the same issues that I'm having. So maybe I don't know, maybe painting the kit entirely could fix the issues. But yeah, I'm gonna say Good Smile Company needs to like work on this kit a little bit more, or fix the issues, or if they have any more future kits planning out for like that doesn't use any polycaps, hopefully they work it out or think it out more thoroughly. Anyway, thank you for watching the review. This was the review of the Savage 1 to 60 skill Savage Crossbow from Full Metal Panic. If you guys got any questions or requests, leave a comment below. I still have more kits to buy and build and make reviews out, so please stay tuned. Until then, see you guys next time!